We're very lucky to have Jonathan Bingham as our second composer in residence with the Arapahoe Philharmonic. Jonathan embarks upon his 2-year residency with us, and this will be his first premiere in Denver, and he'll be premiering his episode for orchestra. This is a really incredible piece that really clearly won our competition that we hold every 2 years. The episode for orchestra really takes the past 100 years of American music and kind of thrusts it into the future in a way. There's a lot of open intervals that you hear, almost Copland-esque, but there's also a lot of orchestral busy work, almost like Bartók. And he really brings these two elements together that I think is on the verge of creating a really awesome new American style. So we're really looking forward to premiering the episode for orchestra. The Symphonie Fantastique is one of the greatest symphonic masterpieces ever written. The premise of the Symphonie Fantastique, it's a fantastic symphony. Written when Berlioz was very young, in his 20s, in love with all these women who wanted absolutely nothing to do with him. He took this idea of Harriet Smithson, who was a very famous Irish actress at the time, who had rejected him, of course, him being a lowly composer, and he essentially wrote this incredible symphony in response to her saying no. So basically the symphony is representative of the life of an artist, where Berlioz gets rejected, and so he decides to take some opium, and he goes into this kind of hallucinogenic stupor, where he imagines he's seen his beloved, who is Harriet Smithson, who comes in the form of an idée fixe, that comes out all the way through the symphony. And by the second movement, he's found himself in this waltz, in this great ballroom. He's kind of forgotten about her a little bit, and then of course her melody comes in once more. After a certain amount of time, Berlioz starts to get really frustrated, and so he imagines that he has killed her as a solution, and then he is sentenced to death, to be executed, marched off to the scaffold in the fourth movement, and he's executed in one of the greatest orchestral symbologies ever created, where his head is chopped off, and you hear the big orchestral tutti chop, and then you hear the pits, pits, pits of the head rolling down the stairs, and then of course the crowd cheers. And Berlioz made an incredible musical depiction of this. As if that weren't enough, by the fifth movement he's condemned to hell, to forever be tortured by murdering his beloved and by her, who appears in this transformed, garbled witch's melody in a witch's Sabbath. Berlioz is a very interesting composer because, like Richard Wagner, Berlioz really didn't play any musical instruments at a high level. But Berlioz ended up being an incredible orchestrator. He writes very well for violins. He pushes the strings. But that being said, any piece that is pushing the boundaries of the symphonic sound is going to have its pitfalls and its difficulties. And this piece is no exception. Orchestras love to play the Berlioz Symphonie Fantastique, but it does present incredible challenges, not just note-wise, but the sheer length of the symphony, coming in at 50 minutes, is incredible unto itself. And just the dramatic flair and arc that the symphony takes is incredibly rewarding for not just the orchestra, but also the audience.